Hello, everyone. So let me continue chapter 2, consumer behavior. Last time we talked about price elasticity, right? So here let's see the next type, which is income elasticity. Okay, this is the new type of elasticity. This time we're asking, how does quantity demanded respond when income changes? Okay, so at the denominator here, it's not price anymore. Okay, so here we have the percentage change in income. Let's see the formula again. Income elasticity of demand equal to the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in income. Here is what matters, okay? So the sign tells you the type of good. If, okay, the sign, if the sign is positive, it means that when income rises, you buy more. We call it a normal good. Most things falls here, okay? Better food, nicer clothes, a better phone, okay? Those are normal goods. The second one, if the sign is negative, so when income rises, you actually buy less of it. That's an inferior good. Okay, so the classical example is the instant noodles, okay, the cup noodles. As people get richer, they eat less instant noodles and switch to good meals, okay? So let me write down the example here for normal good. We can see phone, right? Let's see phone. For inferior good, the classical example, okay, it's instant noodle. Okay, so do you eat instant noodle often? How about when you have more income, will you continue to eat instant noodle? Okay, here is the question for you. So still, what type of good depend on who you ask, okay? So before we do the numbers, just remember, if the sign is positive, so it's normal good. If the sign is negative, so we call it inferior good. Keep that in mind. Next slide, we'll work through an example. All right, so here, bubble tea, let's see. Actually, I want to give it to you guys as active learning, but anyway, let's do it together. Okay, so let's see the question. If demand for bubble tea increased by 50% due to an income by 75%, okay, calculate the income elasticity of demand. I think I need to modify here, okay? But because actually it's not that clear. So if demand for bubble tea increased by 50% due to an increase in income, okay, by 75%, okay? So here it means increase. Let me write it down. Okay, so income also increased by 75%. So please calculate the income elasticity of demand. Okay, same here. You need to know the formula. And let's use epsilon, okay, epsilon I to represent the income elasticity of demand. Okay, so epsilon I due to the formula, okay, equal the percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in income. And next one, we just plug in numbers, right? We just plug in numbers. What is the percentage change in quantity demanded? Okay, it's here, right? 50%. And so for the income, the percentage change in income is 75%, which means 50% on the numerator, 75% in the denominator, okay? And then you use the calculator, you get 0.67, which is, remember, we also need to interpret, okay? Because this one is positive. Okay, let's say greater than 0, right? Let me continue here. I think we need more information here. Okay, so the sign is positive, normal good, negative, inferior good, and also between the positive, okay? So here, let's see. So the sign is positive, and if the epsilon I is greater than 1, that means what? Because actually you buy a lot more when you are richer, okay, when you get richer. So this is a luxury. Right? Because if the income elasticity is greater than 1, that means you're gonna buy more. Okay, the quantity demanded, you're gonna buy more. Next one. So if the epsilon I is greater than 0 and less than 1, we call it necessity. Okay, but be careful, no matter the epsilon I is between 0 or 1, or is it greater than 1, the sign should be positive, right? The sign should be positive. Okay, so let's go back to the example here. Because the epsilon I, the income elasticity here, which is 0.67, it's positive, and is between, okay, epsilon I is between 0 and 1, right? So it means that the bubble tea here is a normal good and what? Go back here, is a normal good and necessity, okay? So here we have, okay, so let's fill in the blanks. If consumer income increases by 1%, the demand for bubble tea will increase, right? Because we have positive here. By how many percent? Okay, so the answer is 0.67%. And we can see that bubble tea is a normal good, okay? Okay, all right. Let's get more practice, okay? And check the intuition. Think about it, okay? When you get richer, you buy more bubble tea, but not dramatically more, okay? Because we have the income elasticity, which is less than one. So it means that when you have more income, you don't buy the bubble tea dramatically more, okay? You don't suddenly drink 5 cups a day, okay? So that means bubble tea is a normal necessity, okay, not a luxury. Income elasticity tells you when people get richer, do they buy more or less, and by how much more, okay? Next example, movie tickets. Maybe you're gonna go to the cinema with your friends on the weekend. Okay, who knows? Let's see the question. The demand for a movie ticket has income elasticity of 3. What does this mean? Okay, this means the epsilon I is 3. And if there is a 10% increase in the consumer's income, then compute the change in demand and identify the type of movie ticket. So here, the question doesn't ask you to calculate the income elasticity anymore. Let's see what does it ask for, okay? So you are given what you are given. You are given that the income elasticity equal 3, and you know that the percentage change in income equal 10%, okay? So it's plus 10%. So this is the information that you are given, right? And then the first step, so basically you need to find percentage change in quantity because we have percentage change in income here, okay? Because, okay, find percentage change. So the small triangle here is the delta, or it means change, okay, in mathematics. Okay, so find percentage change in Q, which is quantity. According to the formula, epsilon I equal percentage change in Q over percentage change in income. All right, so what we have here, just plug in numbers. 3 equal percentage change in quantity over 10%, okay? And then, so we can find the percentage change in quantity easily by just multiplying 3 times 10%. Okay, what you have? So here it's positive 30%. All right, positive 30%. And next one, because we have epsilon I here, which is 3, it's positive and greater than 1, right? Okay, so let me write it down. Epsilon I equal positive 3. It is positive and greater than 1, which means the movie ticket is a normal luxury good. Okay, normal luxury good. So continue, if consumer income decreases by 1%. The demand for movie tickets. The demand for movie tickets will increase or decrease? What do you think? Okay, be careful here. We have if the consumer's income decreases, okay, decreases by 1%, the demand for movie ticket will decrease. Be careful. By 3%. Again, okay, so, and we can see that movie tickets, maybe I need to delete the S, because here is a singular is, right? So, and we can see that movie ticket is a normal luxury good. Okay, normal and luxury. So let me circle normal here. Be careful, okay? Even the epsilon I is positive 3, but here it asks us decreases, okay? So they move at the same direction. That means if income decreases, the quantity, okay, the demand also decrease, all right? Okay, so let's do the intuition check. When your salary goes up by 10%, you go to the cinema 30% more often. When money is tight, cinema is the first thing you cut. Okay, nobody cancels rice to save money, but they cancel movie night. All right. Okay, so let me go back to bubble tea. For bubble tea here, the epsilon I is 0.67, which is a normal and necessity. But for movie ticket, it is normal, but luxury, all right? So everything depends on the numbers here, all right? The higher the income elasticity, the more you are spending on it, sewing with your paycheck. Next one, sticky rice. Sticky rice and grilled pork, okay? This is the typical meals. Okay, this is the typical meal in Thailand, okay? In Thai, they say ข้าวเหนียวหมูปิ้งใช่ไหมข้าวเหนียวหมูปิ้ง okay? So here's sticky rice and grilled pork. Let's see. Let's walk through together. Suppose the initial monthly income of a person is 10,000 baht. And quantity demanded for sticky rice and grilled pork set is 5 units, okay? So before it's 10,000 baht and 5 units. When his income decreased to 8,000 baht per month, quantity demanded by him increased to 10 sets per month. So please find out the income elasticity of demand and identify the type of the good. Okay, so what is the type of a sticky rice and grilled pork set? Let's start with the first step. So the first step, we need to calculate percentage change because here we are given the numbers, okay? So we need to calculate percentage change. Okay, so what is the percentage change in income? Okay, so here percentage change in income equal. Remember, you use the new price, okay? The new price minus the old old one and then divided by the old one. So here we have 8,000 minus 10,000 and then divided by 10,000. Okay, you time 100. Because we need the percent, which is negative 20%. All right. The next one, how about the percentage change in quantity? Same idea. So you use the new one, which is 10 minus, before it was 5, okay? Minus 5, and then you divide it by 5, 10, 100. And here is positive 100%. Okay, next step, calculate. So next step, we just calculate. Okay, so get epsilon I. So epsilon I here equal percentage change in quantity divided by percentage change in income. Okay, so here we have 100% over negative 20%. Okay, so here we have negative 5. Negative 5. Okay, guys, let's interpret it. So the epsilon I here is negative and it's 5, okay, which is less than 0. What does it mean? When income falls, your demand for sticky rice and grilled pork set actually rises. Okay, what does it mean? What does it mean? See here. If it's negative, it means inferior good. Okay, so in this case, we have inferior good. Okay, if consumer income, so here the context, okay, in this scenario, the consumer's income decreased, okay, so let's just follow it. So let's see. Decreases. If consumer income decreases by 1%, the demand for sticky rice and grilled pork set will increase or decrease. So in this case, will increase by how many percent? 5%, right? We got it. And we can see that the sticky rice and grilled pork, the set, is an inferior good. I need here, and I need inferior, okay, is an inferior good. Let's think about in this way. When this person earned 10,000 baht, they ate sticky rice and pork set 5 times a month. But when income dropped to 8,000 baht, they ate 10 times. Why? Because they can no longer afford restaurants, so they switch to cheap street food. That's exactly what an inferior good is, okay? It doesn't mean it's bad, okay? It doesn't mean it's in bad quality, not bad quality, just something you buy more when you are poor, okay? Let me give you some classical inferior goods examples in Thailand. Think about the street food set versus the restaurant. Okay, I need to add one page here to help you better understand. Let's see the classical example of inferior goods, okay? Or you can think about yourself. What type of good for you is an inferior good? Okay. So of course, different people gonna have a different opinion. So inferior good and what people switch from when richer. How about the street food set versus a restaurant? Okay. And then the instant noodle versus the proper meals. Next one, maybe the public bus or minivan versus their own car. Okay, so can you think about some examples, okay, about inferior good in terms of yourself? Okay, what kind of food you think is inferior good for you? Okay, and then when you have more money, you just switch from it. Okay, think about it. The last point I want to emphasize for inferior good, which means, which is inferior here doesn't mean bad. It means richer people buy less of it. Okay, that's it. It doesn't mean bad. Okay, so let's see the income elasticity of demand. This is a complete summary table. So Y is our income and Q is the quantity. Okay, so here you can use epsilon Y or epsilon I, okay? It's basically the same. Because I represents income and also in economics, we use Y to represent income as well. So don't get confused here. So let's see. Let me use another color. Okay, suppose if your income increases, okay, so the prerequisite is your income increase. So I just put a arrow in front of Y. Okay, that means your income increases and you buy more. The quantity increases. Okay, let's say double. I use two arrows. Okay, so in this case, your income elasticity will greater than 1. Why? Because a little increase in your income, but big increase in your quantity. So this product is normal luxury. Examples, we mentioned before the movie ticket, right? Maybe the holidays, okay, luxury bags. And next one, suppose your income increase as well, but the quantity increase just not that big, okay? So in this case, suppose the epsilon I is greater than 0 but less than 1. So this kind of product is normal but necessity. Example here, bread, clothing, bubble tea. Okay, I just write down bread. Next one, suppose income increase, but the quantity, okay, here, this arrow means no change. Okay, the quantity doesn't change at all. So in this case, the epsilon I equal 0. What does it mean? No matter how much your income increase, right? Actually, the quantity doesn't change at all. So we call this one perfect inelastic to income. Example, okay, example, think about salt, right? Soy sauce, those kind of things, okay? They are perfectly inelastic to income. No matter how much your income changes, okay, you still need to buy it anyway. Next one, if income increase, but the quantity decrease, but in this case, okay, small, okay, it's a small decrease, small amount of decrease. Let's see, in this case, the epsilon I, maybe, okay, let's see, greater than -1, but less than 0. Okay, so since the sign is negative, that means it's inferior, but mildly, okay, mildly. Okay, example, instant noodle. Next one, suppose income increases, okay, but the quantity decreases, doubled, okay, so here means big amount of decrease. In this case, the epsilon I can less than -1, okay. This means the product is strongly inferior. Like the public bus. Think about, have you ever been to Bangkok? Okay, think about it. Okay, as far as I know, the public bus in Bangkok, most of them don't have the air conditioning. Would you like to take the public bus as a commute when you are in Bangkok without air conditioning? Okay, think about it. Okay, in this case, we can call it strongly inferior good. Okay, the last type, if income decreases, but quantity increases, okay? So the epsilon here, we can only see that the epsilon is negative. So like the example here, right? Sticky rice and pork set. So here they are inferior good, like sticky rice, pork set. So the sign, okay, please be careful about the sign. The sign tells you the type, and the size tells you how dramatic. If it's positive, normal good. Okay, if it's positive, normal good. If it's negative, inferior good. But if the epsilon is greater than 1, which is luxury, you react strongly to income. But if it's greater than 0 but less than 1, so it's necessity, barely reacts to income. So actually, you can show me that what you buy more of when you get a rise in your salary. Your behavior reveals everything about you as a consumer, right? Okay, we finished income elasticity. The last type, which is cross-price elasticity, all right? Now we are comparing two different goods. How does the quantity demanded of good A respond when the price of good B changes? Okay, formula here. Percentage change in quantity demanded of A divided by percentage change in price of good B. Or we can see if the price of good B changes, how much does demand for good A react? Again, the sign tells the story. Okay, the sign, epsilon, because here maybe good A and B, so we use epsilon AB to represent. This is cross-price elasticity, okay? The sign. So we have positive, the sign, or negative, or 0. What is the relationship of those two goods? And what does it mean? Okay, so example, first one, if it's positive, so the two goods are substitutes. Which means if B gets expensive, you switch to A. Okay, if B gets expensive, you switch to A. Think about if the Starbucks price up, okay, you buy more Cafe Amazon. Okay, Starbucks price up, you buy more Coffee Amazon. They are substitutes, okay? So basically, Starbucks and Coffee Amazon, they are substitutes for you. You just switch to them. If okay, next one, if the sign is negative, they are complements. The same here. If B gets expensive, you buy less A too. Okay, still the same. If B gets expensive, you buy less A too. Like the printer price up. So you're gonna buy less ink cartridge, okay? The printer. Suppose the printer price up and you buy less ink cartridge. So basically the printer and the ink cartridge, they are complements. If the sign is 0, that means those two goods, they are unrelated. So that's, which means B's price doesn't affect A at all. Okay, so suppose the car price up, there's no effect on toothbrush sales, okay? So here, car and toothbrush. Okay, take a look here. Positive substitutes, negative complements, 0 unrelated. Apple and orange. Suppose the cross-price elasticity of apples with respect to the price of orange is 0.4. You are given that the epsilon AB equals 0.4. If the price of orange falls by 3%, what will happen to the demand for apples? Okay, so you are given first one, the epsilon AB equals 0.4, and then the percentage change in price, okay, in price of orange, which is false, right? So negative 3% is here. Okay, next one, the first step, you find the percentage change in demand for apples, okay? How? According to the formula, epsilon AB equal the percentage change in quantity demanded of apple divided by the percentage change of the price of orange. Right, so we have plug in numbers. 0.4 equal percentage change in quantity. But it's quantity for apple, okay? I'm no longer write apple here, just be careful. Divided by negative 3%. Okay, so you just percentage change in quantity equal 0.4 times negative 3%, which is negative 1.2%. All right. So the answer is that demand for apples will decrease by 1.2%, okay? And because, let's fill in the blank first. Orange and apple, they are substitutes, right? They are substitutes. Think about it, okay? Orange got cheaper here because the price of orange falls by 3%. So in this case, orange got cheaper. People buy more orange, right? So they need fewer apples now because they're already getting fruit from orange. That's why apple demand falls 1.2%, all right? And another thing, look at the epsilon, which is 0.4, okay? It's positive. Confirms they are substitutes. Go back here, positive substitutes, right? So orange and apple, they are substitutes. Do you confuse? Okay, so if they are substitutes, shouldn't apple demand go up when orange gets expensive, not down? That's correct, but here the orange got cheaper. So people switch towards orange and away from apples, okay? The same logic, but just opposite direction. Next one, scooter and gasoline. The demand for gasoline rises from 500 to 600 units when the price of a particular scooter is reduced from 25,000 to 22,000 baht. Find out the cross price elasticity of demand for the two. What is the nature of their relationship? Okay, are they substitutes or complements? So here you are given the numbers, okay, not percentage change. So the first step, you need to calculate percentage changes. What is the percentage change in price of scooter? Okay, you use new one minus the old one divided by the old one. 22,000 minus 25,000 divided by 25,000, right? And then, okay, so you time 100 because here is about percentage, which is negative 12%. And next one, the percentage change in quantity, but here is gasoline, okay? You use 600 minus 500 over 500 times 100 equal positive 20%. And next one, calculate epsilon AB. So epsilon AB equal the quantity divided by the price, okay? But here's the quantity for gasoline. Actually, it's percentage change in quantity. Divided by percentage change of price in scooter. Okay, you plug in numbers. We have 20% over negative 12%, which is negative 1.67. What is this? Okay, okay, so since the epsilon AB is negative, which means they are complements. Makes sense, right? Makes perfect sense. Cheaper scooter, more people buy scooters, okay? And more gasoline needed. Let's fill in the blanks. If price of a scooter decreases, okay, decreases by 1%, the demand for gasoline will increases by 1.67%. And or if the price of a scooter increases, okay, increases by 1%, the demand for gasoline will decrease, right? By the same 1.67%. So we can see that those two goods are complements. Okay? So think about it. Scooter and gasoline are a package deal. You can't use one without the other. Cheaper scooter, more riders, more fuel sold. They move in the same direction. That's what complements do, okay? So check the sign here. Okay, if the sign is negative, so they are complements. Complements, which means they are partners, okay? They are partners. When one sells more, so does the other. But for substitutes, which means they are rivals, okay? They are rivals. Okay, the last slide of chapter 2. Let's practice reading the sign, okay, using this table. Same logic as before. For each row, PY means price of Y. Okay, so here we have goods X and Y. We have two goods here, X and Y. PY means price of Y. QX means quantity of Y. So here, price of Y changes, quantity of X responds, and you tell me, are they substitutes or complements, okay? So let's see here. Suppose the price of Y increases, and also the quantity for X increases as well. In this case, the epsilon cross, okay, so C means cross price elasticity. Same as what I showed you here, which is epsilon AB or epsilon XY here, just means cross price. So in this case, the epsilon C is positive, which means they are substitutes. Okay, I told you before Starbucks or Cafe Amazon. Next one, suppose price of Y decreases and quantity demanded for X decreases as well. In this case, the epsilon C is still positive, okay? It means they move at the same direction, okay? They move at the same direction, so we have positive here. So basically, they are substitutes again. Next one, if price of Y increases, but demand of X decreases. So here the epsilon C is negative, which means they are complements. Okay, so think about scooter price up, so less gasoline bought. The other way around, if price of Y decreases but quantity of X increases, in this case, the epsilon C, they are negative as well, and they are complements, right? This is the table. The rule is that if X and Y, they are moving in the same direction, which means positive, okay, they are substitutes. And if X and Y, they move in opposite direction, this is about direction, they are complements, the sign is negative, okay? For substitutes, they compete with each other, so same direction, which is positive. For complements, they cooperate with each other, so we have the opposite direction and the negative sign, okay? Remember, the sign is everything. Positive means rival, negative means partners. Before I end Chapter 2, let me summarize for you, okay? Chapter 2 is about consumer behavior, okay? And then we have so the first part we learned about law of demand, okay? So you need to know what is demand. It means want plus purchasing power. Okay, next one. What is the relationship between price and quantity? They have inverse relationship. Okay, which means price up, quantity down, right? And then there are two causes of price effect. We have income effect plus substitution effect. And next one, what is the difference between the movement and shift? Okay, the movement, which is for demand, okay, if it's because of the price or because of the other factors. Okay, please review it. But here's the logic chain for you. So we have law of demand, right? And then the definition of demand. And then the inverse relationship. This is the first part about law of demand. And then we learned elasticity of demand. Right? For the elasticity of demand, we have three types of elasticity. The first one, price elasticity. And we can tell that according to price elasticity, we can see the goods are the necessity or luxury. Okay, next one. What is the second type of elasticity? Income elasticity, right? And we can distinguish by normal good versus inferior good. Next one. The last type of elasticity, which is cross price elasticity. And according to the cross price elasticity, we can tell that the two goods are their substitutes or complements. Okay, so please review, okay, about the epsilon for each elasticity: price elasticity, income elasticity, or cross price elasticity. This is about chapter 2, okay, consumer behavior, law of demand, why it happens, demand curve and shifts, okay, and 3 types of elasticity: price, income, cross price. These ideas are the foundation for how we'll read markets for the rest of the course. Please review it, all right? Next class, okay, so next Monday, I'll see you next Monday. We're gonna have the multiple choice quiz for chapter 2, which will be done by Kahoot. And I'm gonna give you extra points only for the top 3 students, all right? So please review it. Next class, the same as before, okay? For the beginning, at the beginning of the 30 minutes of the class, I'm gonna talk a little bit about chapter 3, which is producer behavior. Something to think about before I start the class, okay? When a shop raises its price, does it always mean they'll earn more? Or could raising the price actually lose them money? Think about why. We'll connect the directly to elasticity when we come back, okay? So 30 minutes, I'll talk about the producer behavior, and later we're gonna do Kahoot, okay, for chapter 2, which is consumer behavior. Thanks for listening and watching this recording. Have a nice weekend, and please review this. Okay, please review chapter 2. I'll see you next Monday. Bye bye.